Hey guys, new video here. Playing Righteous Fire up until level 98. If you don't want to watch the video, I'll have a path of building down below in the info for you guys. And also the path of building will be good because a couple of the items I sold after I was done playing it. So it's not even the right setup, but I'll explain that later in the video. So as always, we're going to do a map first. Let's just put like, I don't know. Let's just put like bloodlines on it or something. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple strand maps. This is the mapping version. You could do bosses as well, but my version has a couple issues here. So as always, you're just shield charging around. The game styles, it's pretty smooth. It's not very laggy unless you put Beyond on your maps, which is a huge pro of the build. It's quite relaxing. I'll talk about like the best things about it first while I'm doing this map, and that is it is completely immune to the stuff that'll kill you on the way to 100. So if you're like paying attention, Beyond, you can ride the wave of the detonate dead explosions. You can take multiple volatiles to the face. You can basically face tank an Abaxoth just standing in all the flame blasts. You just won't die to any Beyond shenanigans. You won't die to, you know, any kind of fire damage that you can think of, right? And it's pretty smooth gameplay. It's not the fastest build in the world, whether for mapping or for boss killing, but it's okay all around. And the MTX is kind of nice if you like the Divine, Righteous Fire and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. This is an Occultist, so. You know, a lot of questions get asked like, why Occultist over Guardian? Well, I mean, I just like the regen. Occultist has better MTX. The armor looks better on her. Profane Bloom, when you go off, you see it right there, the purple explosions. Also, I don't have my Vol Grace here, so I hope I don't die, but yeah, it's not so bad. So, yeah, Occultist just like looks better, and it feels really good to play. So I'll talk about the Ascendancy first. So I chose Occultist mainly because first you get some cool purple explosions here. Maybe it helps a little bit with the map clear and cleanup, but it doesn't really matter that much. One extra curse is really nice because I have Despair from my Witchfire Brew, and then also I have a flammability on Blasphemy, so that's two curses right there. Wicked Ward is really nice since we're going low life, you know, a little bit ES, it does help. And then also the Val Bastion. So this one, you can see this icon, I think they added it recently, where you can see the icon in the top left of your screen. And what that does is like for every enemy killed, as you see, it's 0.5% regen, and you're always at like, you know, at least 20 stacks, so 10% regen really helps with the, to mitigate you know, the degen from the Righteous Fire, even if your gear is not really that great. The tree is pretty standard Righteous Fire tree. I have some aura effectiveness. I have like the ES, the big ES nodes where I can, right here, right here. This jewel actually is supposed to be energy from within. So when I was actually playing the build, I had about 10,200 ES, but once again, I sold some of my gear, so ES has gone down a little bit, but I would go energy from within right here and take this. You don't need to take pain into it. This is just because I have the searing bond and stuff. So you know, why not? You don't have to take that. You know, it's got the Elemental Overlord Keystone for more damage, and the crit is procced by your shield charge. I have the Zealot's Oath because I have a juicy Watcher's Eye here. So right now we're just going over like the big things on the tree because there are some important things here. So this Watcher's Eye, I have 2.5 maximum ES regenerate per second while affected by Discipline, and the 2.5 is actually really easy to divine because it's a 1 out of 10 chance, right? It doesn't go like the Hatred one is actually like in the hundredths for the decimal place, but this one is in the tenths, so it's a 1 out of 10 chance to divine it for 2.5, so super easy there. The jewel is pretty expensive right now just because there's not that many of them, but I have the life regen with vitality, and I have other life regen on the tree. So with this combined with the Zealot's Oath keystone, I have a pretty juicy amount of regen here. Okay, nothing else needs to be said about the tree. Pretty standard dot damage stuff. Jewels are your standard, like, you know, you have fire damage, generic damage, you can have area damage, you can have damage over time, you can have burning damage, and I have a little bit of attack speed. Ultimately, you probably want ES. So like this one right here, 8% maximum ES. And so you probably want that on most of your jewels. You can also get Abyssal Jewels if you want. Abyssal Jewels with like 40 plus ES, and if you're using a presence of Kyuubi, you can also get some life on your jewels, on your Abyssals as well, because it's like hard to fill up the 4 damage props. Little bit of preface before I go in further. This shouldn't really be meant as a build guide. This is just like my thoughts on the build that I'm playing and like how I feel about it, you know, the gear I'm using and everything. I really don't know that much about Righteous Fire because it's my first time playing the build ever. Okay, so I am very inexperienced with this, but it was pretty good. I was able to make it to 98. 100 is kind of grueling, so I already got that on the previous characters, so maybe I won't take it to 100, but it was a really nice build to play. I enjoyed it a lot. So that's the tree right there. Nothing much needs to be said. Like this Watcher's Eye, you don't need it because Vaal Bastion is such crazy regen. If you do maps like Haunted Mansion, where the mobs are even more densely packed, your Vaal Bastion is going to go to like 40-50 stacks, and I mean, at that point you're at like 25% ES regen, right? So maybe it's not that big a deal. One of the downsides, though, if you run beyond, like if you're pushing for 100 and you run beyond and stuff, right? Let's just say that the cleanup on this build is pretty bad. And I have a solution for that that I'll go over a little bit later. It's just using a light poacher to get the cleanup from Herald of Ice and the light poacher projectiles. But yeah, the cleanup of stragglers, things like that, are a real nightmare on Beyond maps. But most people don't run Beyond on every map like I do, so it's not really that big a deal. Okay, once again, I'll go with light poacher stuff a little bit later. So let's go over the gear real quick. I'm using a Doriani's Catalyst just because it has the increased LE damage, so it's like 132% increase. Not bad. A local attack speed roll, so my shield charge is just a little bit faster. That's all there is there. It's pretty cheap if you don't go for a perfect one. So good starter weapon. You can also use a Bright Beak, which will really help you resist, because of some of the other pieces you want the maximum ES, and it's hard to get the resist on there as well. So a swap here would be Bright Beak, but Doriani's Catalyst worked for me. The gems in here, I'm using Blasphemy and Flammability here, 2023, and then 2120 would be the best, but like I don't have a 2120. In this green socket, I think I sold my Vaal Grace, so this would be Vaal Grace. Vaal Grace mixed with the Smoke Cloud from Stibnite makes it near impossible for monsters to hit you reliably. So on the push to 100, Vaal Grace was extremely safe. And I used to use the Watcher's Eye that had maximum ES regen while affected by Discipline, and I had the second mod wasn't Vitality. It was while affected by Grace, you have 10% chance to dodge attacks, because it does work with Vaal Grace. So I had a Vaal Grace in here, very, very safe. There was never really a point where I came close to dying on this character, and I think if I wanted to go for 100, it would be pretty easy. It would just be a time commitment. So Vaal Grace in that green socket. Gloves are Insanity gloves, just to move a little bit faster, because I thought I was going for 100, and I wanted to move through the map a little bit faster. This has 200 ES, so very juicy amount of ES on there. It doesn't have any resist, as you can see, right? So a little bit iffy there, but it has the Insanity, it has the high ES that I wanted, and then of course it has I got it enchanted with Commandment of Reflection, because that's like the Illusion Man. When you get hit, it's a 10-second cooldown, Shadow Clone pops out, and it could possibly tank for you a little bit, right? It's just a little bit extra protection. None of the other stuff really mattered. You don't want any of the elemental stuff, because you are using Elemental Equilibrium here, okay? I'll show you how I proc the EE later. The EE is actually procced by this ring that has cold damage to attack. So every time I shield charge into something, they die. Things that don't get shield charge, I mean the white mobs, blues, yellows, they die like instantly. So it doesn't really matter. But on the boss, you shield charge them and the EE procs, okay? So these are some Insanity gloves here. The boots are Death's Door. Ideally, I sold the last pair that I had that had 2% life and mana regen when hit, and I think that is the best enchant for this build. You could also go with the 16% attack cast if you want. It's not really that big a deal. Move speed, if you want, once again, not that big a deal. So just get Death's Door. Try to divine it to like, you know, as close to 40 strength as possible, because some of the stuff like blood magic, vitality, all that stuff does need a little bit more strength.